Hey everybody, Joel Johnson here, Managing Partner at Johnson Brunetti. And thank you so much for tuning into this segment. This segment for some of you might be a little tough because we're going to talk about something that may be very near and dear to your heart. And if it's not, I'm sure that you know somebody out there that has gone through this. And that is the early retirement offer. And sometimes that early retirement offer is an offer. Sometimes it's the fact that you're being forced to retire early. I mean, picture this, and some of you have gone through this. You show up to work one day, you get an email or you get an announcement that there's a meeting with your boss, there's a meeting with somebody, and you find out that they're going to offer packages to 200 people. And sometimes that offering the package to 200 people means that you better take this package or else you don't know what the future is going to be. In fact, we call it forced to retire because in that case, you are being, in a sense, forced to retire. Now, we have a number of companies that have done this. And sometimes you're not being forced to retire, but for instance, there was an insurance company here in the Hartford area a little while back that said, well, if you don't take a retirement offer by a certain date, you lose your retiree health benefits. So they weren't really forcing you to retire, but they were saying if you keep working after a certain date, then all bets are off with your retiree health insurance. If you retire before that date, we'll cover your health insurance and Medicare supplement and so on for the rest of your life. So forced to retire. So what do you do when you get this offer? Well, I want to give you a few simple steps, and then I'm going to give you a resource that will help you if you or anyone you know is faced with a forced or a coerced, shall we say, early retirement. So let's go to the board and we'll talk about the 4 areas that you want to make sure that you have covered. First of all, if you're forced to retire or you're going to take an early retirement offer and you are not age 65 or older, you're going to have to make some decisions about health insurance. And there's good news and bad news here. The bad news is if you're not 65, you're going to have to go out and buy some health insurance to get you to Medicare age. Remember, 65 is the age that you can go on Medicare, the government health insurance program for retirees. And even though your regular Social Security age might be 66 or 67, you can still get on Medicare at age 65. But if you're not 65, you're going to have to do something about health insurance. Now, most early retirement packages, they offer you some health insurance options that you can pay for. We've all got COBRA, which is a law that says they have to give us something. Sometimes that's a very expensive option. And you ought to also check out the Affordable Health Care Act policies because this has been a good thing. I know a lot of you don't like a lot of provisions about the Affordable Health Care Act. I don't like provisions about the Affordable Health Care Act. But one positive thing that came out of the Affordable Health Care Act is if you're forced to retire at age 62 or 63, you can go out, buy insurance through the exchange. Remember, the premium is based on what? It's based on your income. So if you're retired and your income goes down, your premiums are going to be lower. But you're going to have to make, whatever direction you go in there, you're going to have to make a decision about health insurance as part of that early retirement. Some of you may have a pension decision you have to make. Should you take your pension now? Should you wait until regular retirement age to take your pension? Should you take a lump sum? Should you roll over if they offer a lump sum over into your own individual retirement account? That's, of course, a tax-free rollover. So should you do that? But if you do that, now you've got to manage the money to produce your own income, or you could take a pension payout from the company, and the company guarantees you income for the rest of your life. And maybe you want to cover a spouse. A lot of decisions around taking a pension. Once you make that decision, it's irrevocable. So make sure you get the right one. You make the right decision. Make sure you do that with a qualified professional. The next decision you're going to have to make is what do you do with that retirement account? For most of you, it's a 401k. If you work for the state or a municipality, it might be a 403b. If you work for a not-for-profit like a hospital, it might be a 403b or 401a. But you've got to make some kind of a decision of what do I do with that 401k? And let's just, for the purposes of our discussion here today, call all those accounts 401ks. Do I want to roll it over, manage it myself? Do I want to roll it over and get help from a financial professional that may be managing my other money? Or do I want to leave it with the company? For most of you, the right thing to do is roll it over. 2 big reasons why you might want to roll it over. One is flexibility. You have more flexibility if you roll it over. You don't have to stick with the options of the company that they've decided you should choose your investments from. Now the world is your oyster as far as the different investments you can put in that 401k because it's now going to become an IRA. The other is control. When you still have your money in the 401k or the 403b, they have a certain amount of control over your money. They have certain rules they set. You roll it over to an IRA, you have more control. But a few folks, I would say, in my experience doing this for over 25 years, 3 to 5% of the folks should actually leave the money in that company 401k. How do you know if you're one of the 3 to 5%? You've got to talk to a qualified professional, somebody you trust, because you want to make sure that if you would be better off leaving the money in the 401k, that those people would have the integrity. People giving you the advice have the integrity to tell you leave the money in the 401k, because obviously they get paid more money if you roll the money over. So that's the third thing you have to make a decision on is 401k. So number 1, health insurance, you've got to make some decisions on that. Number 2, pension, you've got to make some decisions on that. Number 3, 401k, you've got to make some decisions on that. And the third thing is you need a retirement, or the fourth thing, excuse me, is you need a retirement income analysis. How do you know if you're going to be okay in retirement if you don't have a retirement income analysis? This is a simple tool we've developed, and other independent financial planning firms have this tool. They can walk you through, or we can do it if you feel comfortable with us. And what it gives you is it gives you a snapshot based on how much income you want in retirement. It'll let you know, number 1, do you have enough saved? Are you going to be okay with the pension and Social Security and everything else? And number 2, what rate of return do you need on your money to be okay? So that's that retirement income analysis. So these are the 4 things I want you to get right away if you're in danger of being forced to retire early, or if you're contemplating a retirement offer, or you can forward this video to friends of yours that might be in the same position. Now, I have a special offer for you today. We don't usually do this on this video series, but I want to do this today, and that's a book I wrote called Forced to Retire. And in this book, we cover these options, these decisions that you have to make. There are other decisions that we talk about in this book, like, should I collect unemployment? Do I need to find another job? Should I take Social Security early, or should I wait? All of those are in this book. All of those subjects and answers to those questions are in this book, Forced to Retire. So make sure you get a copy of Forced to Retire. If you're facing this, and if you have a friend that's facing it, let us have their email address, or forward them the link in this video. Or better yet, forward them this video that you're getting. It's okay if they didn't subscribe. We'll let you forward them the video, and they can contact us at Johnson Brunetti. Again, email johnsonbrunetti.com for any kind of questions that you have. Get a copy of the book, Forced to Retire. And if you want to talk to somebody right now, call 1-800-208-7233. That's 1-800-208-SAFE. We'll be glad to answer all your questions. Whether we hear from you or not, I wish you the best as you make this important decision. Thank you.